Parampoojya Gurudev had written a letter to his Guru, Bhagavatpad, Swamy Sachchidanandjis, seeking his guidance on certain matters pertaining to sadhana. This letter was written in reply to Gurudev. Bhagavatpad Swamy Sachchidanandjis' letter is unique and only Gurudev has had the honor of receiving letters written by Bhagavatpad Swamy Sachchidanandjis in his own hand. My dear, try to look inside yourself for what you have tried to find externally, as it is the inner light which illuminates the outer world. Usually a human being's own thinking is reflected in the atmosphere, and it is then that thoughts cloud his mind. If you observe closely, you will find the entire nature involved in its own processes. In the light of your inner self, you will be able to see the basic form of nature. The light of one's heart mingles with that all-pervading light of the eternal power and pervades the body and mind. Only if we can imbibe this eternal power, we shall be able to identify our inner consciousness with the outer world. The awareness of this great power unites the inner and outer world. Mahamaya can be contemplated only with a pure heart, and the consciousness acquired thus is that eternal light which makes sinful thoughts, pain and suffering disappear, and the mind becomes pure and clear. Then the light fills our heart, elevates the life. As a result, a man is unaware of what goes on in the world outside, and removing himself from the material world, he enters the spiritual world. Science can teach only about what can be perceived, but unless the unseen is contemplated, our entire effort will be in vain. What cannot be perceived can be reached only by curbing natural desires. A stricken and tainted mind cannot do so. Only a person with a pure heart can understand the mystery of the great light in the void, the light of Mahamaya. This power plays all kinds of games with the whole universe. Joys and sorrows, profit and loss, hope and despair, relationship between father and son, brother and sister, master and servant. These are all its deeds, which are not easy to comprehend. We do not comprehend them because of our illusions. We criticize them and feel very wise. But such criticism only displays ignorance, as living beings in their minute and large forms are all the games played by this eternal power, Mahashakti. Until you understand her deeds, you will continue to be confused and restless. There is no difference between a son and a disciple. The love which a mother gives to her son is given to the disciple by his Guru. You are created with a specific purpose through the yogic power of the Eternal Mother. I am only a particle of her divine light. All that has happened and is happening are at her promptings. You are not born to live and die like an ordinary man. You are coming to me, and acceptance by me was also her doing. You and I are the sparks of the same light. There was a purpose in drawing you to me and creating you, just like a potter making his clay pots with a certain purpose and plan in his mind. I feel a responsibility towards you, and I shall not be happy until you have achieved your aim. I have parents' love for you since I brought you up as a mother brings up her child. You had to undergo a lot of suffering with me, but all that was to ensure that your training did not fall short of anything. Your letter reflects a worldly attachment. In the spiritual world, there is no wife and no son, no father and no mother, no guru and no shishya. We are all particles of the same thing. We exist separately, but we are one in reality because we have been created by the same power. Your desire to come and live with me is only your illusory attachment, which is born out of the union of the light of that power and the physical development. These attachments are our enemies. We should get rid of them. They cause us no end of pain. But my son, if you let such emotions cause you pain and suffering, you will not be able to understand the value of life. There is no need for despair. I have a body which sometimes gets affected by hostile powers, and as a result, I have attachments as I feel attached to you. I do not see you as independent of myself. You are my Shishya, and every action of yours is directed towards achieving my life's aim. I am guilty of having interfered with divine plans. Even as a householder, you were a sannyasi. I had accepted you in your past life as my disciple. I do understand that the life of a sannyasi is a lonely one. What is required today is to make society conscious of spirituality. The conflict between the spiritual and the material world has given rise to all kinds of demoniacal powers, hatred, anger, deceit, dishonesty, and discontentment. At such a critical time, your mission cannot be completed by leading a secluded life. What is required is to stay in the material world, to show the right path to people engaged in their day-to-day activities, and bring back to the earth that spiritual enlightenment which alone can spread love and compassion. It is therefore important to be like others. Unless you are one of them and work as they do, you will not be able to communicate with them and propagate your message. Your inclination has been towards sannyas and not towards family life. But my dear son, at the Universal Mother's signal, I had to give you the stern order to go back to your family. I know how hurt you were, but this had to be done. These days generally, people's mentality shows that they are dominated by evil powers. Until it is completely conquered, godly virtues cannot flourish. That is why you have been sent back to live as a householder. At the time of your departure, I told you that you have to be like the lotus, untouched by the slush around you. You have to be forgiving. When there is darkness all around, the single lamp which sheds light has to be extraordinarily strong and enduring. That is why I selected you from amongst hundreds of my disciples. I have seen you stand strong and firm like a rock in the face of adversities. In your previous lives, you had been a sannyasi. That is why in this life too, you have the mind of a sannyasi. But you have to carry out your duties to your family. There will be temptations in your way which should not deter you. Remain unattached and blemishless. It is difficult to live as a sannyasi while living in the family, but I am confident that you will succeed in this test. In your letter, you have talked about your restlessness. You are anxious to leave your family and come away to me, but do not forget that I had a purpose in throwing you back on thorns. Until that objective has been achieved, you have to struggle with them. When you get at the root of all creation, you will know that there are no relationships there. There is no wife, no mother or son there. There is no bondage. All are equal. You have to look upon your family with that attitude. I have entrusted you with a more difficult task to educate people in spirituality. The people are submerged in the material world. They have to detach themselves from that and try to learn about spirituality. This is possible through mantra. Jyotish and Tantra are parts of it. You must unfold these by writing about them as well as through me and through your thoughts and feelings. This vanishing knowledge has to be brought back to the people and kept alive. This is not possible to achieve as a sannyasi. If you have to work among worldly people, it is better to live their way. That is why I was compelled to send you back to your family. There is no need to despair. It is because of our physical forms that we tend to lose hope. Don't you see me? Don't you communicate with me? Are lives and souls related to each other? These things happen every day. Then why this anxiety? Whatever task I assign to you, it should be carried out without wasting a single moment. The day I feel that your mission has been accomplished, I shall call you back to me. It is your mental illusion which makes you see the sparks of the light of Mahamaya as individuals. Your wife is a particle of that light. It was at Yogamaya's prompting that your wife encouraged you to follow the path to sannyas. I have only tried to send you back to that spark from which you got separated and came to me. When a pitcher breaks, the water in it becomes a part of the air. Your life, in spite of being independent, is a part of my life. Your wife is a particle of Adya Shakti, and that is how she should be looked upon. You are only a part of her entire plan. You have a short spell as a householder, since you are in reality a sannyasi and had been one in your past lives. You have therefore very little time to complete your task. You have to make every moment of your life useful, as therein lies your success in your mission. There is no time for hunger, thirst or sleep. Just as a baby in its mother's womb gets its nourishment from the umbilical cord, you have to derive your spiritual nourishment through your contemplation of Ma. You should not bow down to anyone except Ma. You are not to show humility to any human being. I have confidence in you as much as I have in my own self. You have to select young men and women with requisite qualities in whom you see the sparks of Ma Adya Shakti's light. They should be dedicated and capable of very hard work. There should be no discrimination between men and women. A disciple is a disciple, whether a man or a woman. You have to elevate their minds and train them in the job I have entrusted you. Time moves on. You have to work fast and be always conscious of your duties. Do not go after physical comforts and mental recreation, but keep hardening your life. The more cruel you are to yourself, the greater will be your success. I have great affection for you. I have tried you, and I am happy to know that my dreams will come true through you. It was my dream to put an end to the power of the evil, to encourage godly qualities and promote mantra, tantra, jyotish, jnana, vairagya and yoga, etc. I have to call you back soon and you have to take care of Siddhashram hereafter. But before that, it is important that you complete your mission. I have great faith in you and the way you have been working with strong determination in unfavorable circumstances and standing firm like a rock in a storm strengthens my faith in your strength. I see your wife as Adya Shakti and I bow to her. Wishing you well, yours, Sachchidananda Paramahamsa.